Welcome to We Are Montgomery Township, the podcast where we keep you informed and engaged about what's happening in Montgomery Township in Montgomery County. Today's episode features Township Manager Carolyn McCreary in conversation with Police Chief Bill Peoples.
Welcome to We Are Montgomery Township, a podcast for Montgomery Township and its residents. I'm Carolyn McCreary, Township Manager. With me today is Chief Bill Peoples, and this is our first podcast for 2025, so we just want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. Chief, I want to start a little bit, just going over your bio for everybody who might not know you in your time here at Montgomery Township.
Sure. I was born and raised in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Throughout schooling and high school, I was involved in Boy Scouts. I stayed in Boy Scouts all the way through to becoming an Eagle Scout. While I was in high school, I played various sports. My main sport was lacrosse. My senior year of high school, I decided to go into the United States military. So I joined the Army while I was still a senior in high school. I went in as a M1A1 Abrams tank crewman. I spent time in the military, a total of 6 years. When I got out of the military, I went to Penn State University where I received my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And then immediately from there, I went into the police academy through Montgomery County Police Academy. While in the academy still, I got hired by Upper Pottsgrove Police Department, which is just west of Pottstown. Within a year of being hired there, I got hired by Montgomery Township Police Department. I started my career in 1997 with the police department. Since then, I've done several different positions within the department. The most notable is, to me, was a field training officer. 5 years in, I got asked to be a field training officer, train new officers coming in. And through my time with the police department, I've trained 11 officers with the police department that are still here today. I also served other functions within the department, one of them being a DARE officer. Through my career, I've taught at all 3 elementary schools. Also a less lethal weapon instructor for the expandable baton. I served on a couple different boards, one of them being the awards committee. I was also a member of the drug task force. And then as far as promotions go, I was officer in charge for several years. That is in charge when the sergeant is off duty. Then I was promoted to the rank of corporal, then sergeant, then lieutenant, which brings me to where I am today.
So that's not only an impressive background, but it's also a diverse background. So tell me something about your journey in law enforcement and tie in the military experience, if you will, and how it prepared you to serve Montgomery Township's community and particularly taking on this role of chief.
Well, I would say when you talk about service, the first real taste of service I had, I would say would actually be through the Boy Scouts. Through the Boy Scouts, there's a lot of community service, but there's also a lot of leadership within the Boy Scouts itself, going from being just as simple as a patrol leader to a senior patrol leader to even after I turned 18, before I went into the military, I was an assistant scoutmaster for several months before I went into the military. But then we talk about leadership and service going further into the military. When I was in the military, I became a leader. Not only becoming a squad leader, but becoming a sergeant before getting out of the Army and working my way all the way up to after active duty. I went into the reserve for a short period. I actually was a tank commander of my own tank, which was kind of the pinnacle of my military career before it was over. That transferred over to becoming a police officer. The leadership skills I learned in my life going forward, just progressing through the police department, again, being an officer in charge, and then just working my way all the way up to where I am today.
So in my experience with you since I've been at the township, you exemplify servant leadership. You put the department first. Even moving up through the ranks, you've always looked out for others. What are some of the challenges you see now, in creating a police department in 2025 in the image that you want to maintain?
I think right now, the image that I want to maintain right now is the culture of Montgomery Township right now I'm very proud of it. I've been part of creating that culture. The way that keep going, as far as I'm concerned, is the way that we're recruiting and hiring people right now. Is we have to hire people that have the attitude that we're looking for, the attitude that they want to be part of a team, they want to be part of a bigger project. They want the same mission. we all want to be going forward together in the same way. Serve and protect. I'll say that all the time. That's our main goal or our main mission. I'm looking for people that are going to fulfill that and be part of the teamwork to meet that.
But your department's unique in that you have the law enforcement side, obviously, serve and protect, but you also, I think, serve as ambassadors for the township. Can you elaborate a little bit on, your role in fostering, a safe and connected and welcoming community for all of our residents and visitors?
Sure. When I look at the protect and serve, which is something that I always think about, the protect is easy. The protecting is maintaining order within the township and enforcing the laws. But when you're talking about the service portion of it, that's more of where I look at fostering good relationships with the township itself. There's a lot of things that police departments do that they do for service for the township that's not necessarily protecting. Some of these things might be as simple as checking a house that alarm's going off. If someone has your vehicle, you lock the keys in the car, we're coming out to provide that service. Someone's missing from your home, even a missing dog. We'll go out and find missing dogs. Sometimes we'll just find loose dogs and then put them back with their owner. We go out for medical assistance. That's another service provided. A lot of times we'll be the ones that will lift someone up that falls because they don't want the ambulance to come out. And we're out there helping people with mental health crises as well that may not reach the level of full medical response from EMS that we're out there to help. So that's where I really see the service end of the police department.
So let's talk about the department's programs and some of the initiatives that you currently offer that definitely, in my opinion, have a really positive impact on our community. And how do you want to expand on some of them? Like, this is a great opportunity to make people aware of just what it is you're doing and the duality of your roles.
Right. So this goes towards the service also of like reaching out to the community and getting better relationships. I would love to say that all these programs that I created since I took over as chief, but it's not. These are all programs that have been around for years now, and all I want to do is I want to build them, make them better than they are now, if it's all possible. So some of these things, and I'll talk about the first one being our Citizens Police Academy that we're getting ready to roll out right now. And the Citizens Police Academy is essentially, it's made for adults that live in the township, work in the township, or sometimes have any nexus whatsoever to the township. We open up the application, and if you have a nexus to the township, or if you're just that interested in law enforcement, we'll accept your application. And what that is it's anywhere from a 12 to 15 week program. What we do is we meet one day a week in the evenings, and we go over various law enforcement topics. This is more of a hands-on thing. So when we're doing certain things like the patrol procedures, you'll be seeing a police car in a police car. We'll do mock traffic stops. We go to, there's actually a fast machine, which is a big 3D video simulator that'll go through how to de-escalate a situation or use of force. The detectives will do an investigative one where you'll see how to process a crime scene, how to lift fingerprints, from the simple things of dusting for fingerprints all the way up to some of the technology, ultraviolet rays and different things that we have that we can find evidence of a crime. Canine, they're always a big hit. They'll do their demonstrations and talk about how the canines use in policing. Then we also have the SWAT team will come out and talk about the different things that they do. Another thing we do is Junior Police Academy. That's much more scaled down than what I just spoke about. That's done in the summer months, and that's typically between the ages of about 10 to 14. And that's a day or two program where we invite the kids in and we show them what police work is like. Not only police work that what an average police officer does on a daily basis, but we'll bring in special units like the SWAT. Sometimes we'll have the bomb unit come in from Montgomery County. Medical helicopter will come in and talk about what they do. The fire department will stop out. Emergency medical services, ambulance will come by. We try to make it interactive as possible and to keep the kids engaged as much. The biggest thing is just getting the kids with the police to see that, the police are normal people. They're not out there just stopping cars and arresting people. They're people that want to interact with the community. Some of the other things that we always participate in the National Night Out that we do in Wendell Strait Park. We do touch truck events, which is essentially vehicle displays. We'll do them. A lot of times we'll do them in conjunction with food drives or toy drives. Every year around Halloween, we always have done this since I've been with the department now for 27 years. We've been doing it before I started, where we do Halloween candy, where a patrol car will go into neighborhoods, put its lights on, and have a bucket of candy and just hand out candy to the kids that are walking around trick-or-treating. We also, we provide several identity theft seminars that we'll do throughout the year at different places. And we do canine demonstrations as well, station tours, and we're very active with the North Penn Pal Police Athletic League, where we'll do different functions throughout the year. So these are all ways that I look at that we're trying to get out into the community as a police department and touch as many people's lives and let them see who we are as a police department. As far as expanding it, I just want to do the best I can to build off of the framework that has been given to me as a new chief.
So you talked about North Penn Pal. Can you expand a little bit? I know our department participated in Shop with a Cop this year.
That's correct. We just finished up Shop with a Cop that was held in Montgomery Township this year, and that was all for people that had problems being able to afford presents that we did it. I wish I would have looked up the numbers to say how many we did and the amount of money that was raised for donations, but it was a huge undertaking. I'll give our community policing department a big shout out for that. They did a lot, but it wasn't just us. It was Hatfield, Lansdale, Towomenton, North Wales, and Upper Gwinnett. They're all the departments that make up the North Penn Pal. So that was a huge event. It took a lot, and we'll be doing it again next year. But besides that, North Penn Pal, they'll do things like they'll do pickleball tournaments one weekend or basketball tournaments. We do mini golf once a year. So that's a good event too. And it's good because it's the whole North Penn area, not just Montgomery Township.
So some of those initiatives obviously are directly outreach to certain segments of our population. PAL reaches out to obviously the kids. Are you familiar with the book Bowling Alone?
No.
Okay. So it was a book that was written a number of years ago now, and it talked about how we have become less and less involved in communal activities, if you will. That's what Bowling Alone. There's bowling leagues, book clubs. We've become more isolated. We might live in family units and communities, but we're so into our devices and remote work now that we're just not connecting the way we used to. So what's the challenge then for your department to create meaningful connections with our community in general?
That's always a struggle, and we're always on the lookout for groups and organizations that if they'll have meetings, they have get-togethers, we try to interject ourselves as much as reach out to them to ask them, do you want any services? You want us to go out to talk about safety, protection, the canine unit? Is there anything we can do to come out just to pretty much integrate ourselves into the community? That's been the most successful way. We've held seminars and different meetings and stuff like that. While it is well attended, we try to incorporate it with whether it's a PTA meeting or something within the Chamonix Falls group. Just having it by itself, we don't get the community engagement that we want. So we're always seeking out ways that we can get to the community, whether it's coffee with a cop or just going to different events as a police officer, setting up a tent, handing out giveaways just to be able to give an opportunity to talk to people.
So I'm biased, but in the 5 years I've been here, I generally look at your department as being the gold standard for law enforcement. The caliber of officers you have, the culture that's created, the meaningful work that you're doing in the community, both in outreach and on the law enforcement side. What does the PD have to do to maintain that gold standard going forward?
I would say, I would like to take credit for where we're at right now as a culture, but it's not. It's something that started so many years ago, the way we are as a police department, the way we're proactive, but we're still involved with the community. To keep it going, I would say it really, as much as it has to come from me, the desire to keep going the direction we're going, it really trickles down to my lieutenants, the sergeants, and the patrol officers. I said it earlier, it really has to be a team mentality. And I think we just have to keep it together as a team and rely on the people that are on the street doing the stuff to maintain the culture that we want.
So the current climate is not necessarily conducive to bringing new officers into the department. The last few years, since 2020, and we've seen a decline in applications coming in. The caliber of applicants aren't necessarily the best fit for Montgomery Township. So what are the challenges you see with recruitment going forward to maintain the organization at the level you want it to be?
That is a concern. I mean, when I got hired, when I took the test back in 1997, there was about 420 applicants for 4 positions. Now we're struggling to get anywhere near 100 if we run a test by ourselves. So we've now reached out to where we're part of a consortium testing through Montgomery County. I'll use this shamelessly right now. We're in a hiring process right now. So if you go on our Facebook page, there's a link on how you can go onto there to become part of the consortium. I believe there's over 14 agencies that are hiring right now. It's not something that's specific to Montgomery Township. Like you said, it's law enforcement across the board. And the only way I see to get by this is to really do it as more of an outreach. We have to find the people that are out in the academies, that we go out and talk to them. Even the job fairs will have people that, people from our police department that will go out and talk to them. I try to make it younger officers, so it's not the older person that can't relate, but to tell them who we are, what's it about, and we'll offer them to come into the station to do tours. We've really done that a lot to where anyone that's interested, you come into the station, do a tour, you can sit down with an officer and talk to them. We even provide ride-alongs where you can come out. If you're not sure about the field and law enforcement, you can come out and actually ride with an officer, go out on the street, see what it's like, and make the decision for yourself if it's something that you really want. And then hopefully, that person will go through the path of going to the police academy and coming back to us when we're testing.
So what type of person are you looking for as chief to fill the roles that are going to be opening up in our department?
I always, the adage is out there, and it's so true, is hire for attitude, train for skill.
You taught me that early on.
Yes. I'm always looking for that person that's got the good attitude, someone that's going to learn. I don't necessarily need someone that has 10 years experience as a police department that already has their own cultures, ideas, and attitudes about doing things to start with us. I'd rather have that person that come in, doesn't know anything. We'll teach you the skills that you need to succeed within the police department. But I need that attitude of you need to be the team player, moving in the same direction with us out there to serve and protect.
So I've also heard you use the term baby cop. What was your experience like coming here to Montgomery as a baby cop, if you will?
Well, yeah, I remember I came from, as what I call baby cop, I came from Upper Pottsgrove Police Department. So when I went there were 5 officers with the department. I was part-time. My field training consisted of 2 to 3 weeks of riding with someone part-time and then being on my own. Technology, we didn't have anything in the car other than a radio. So when I came to Montgomery Township, it was a big change. It was a very structured department, from having the chief, lieutenant, sergeants, field training officers. So it was a big change to me, but it was so much easier for me than I think someone else, is that I had my military background. So I was very familiar with the structure of the way things were. But I will tell you that, coming here as a new officer, I was given everything I needed to succeed, above and beyond. Knowing other departments, how they do things, especially now, we were ahead of the game, back in 1997 when I started my field training program.
So you think your military background helped you assimilate in?
I do. I think it taught me, the chain of command, the way things need to be done, looking at things in a bigger picture, not just, myself selfishly, but how a bigger unit works and how thing integrates together for, I keep saying it, but one mission.
So let's switch gears a little bit. What does Chief Peoples do when he's not at work?
It's kind of cliche, but I like spending time with my family. Most recently, the project that I came up with, my wife and I decided to buy an old pontoon boat. And we rebuilt the pontoon boat. We took it all the way down to the pontoons and built it up. But that's been a project over the past 2 or 3 years. I love projects and, work with my family with that. Now we're able to go out on the pontoon boat. Love doing that. I will say that I love going out on the boat because if I get my family out there, they can't do anything else. So if we go out on the pontoon boat, we're just listening to music, relaxing in the sun, maybe do a little bit of fishing. But it's nice because you can't do that thing. It's like, oh, we're just here. I'm going to start laundry, or let me pull this weed, which turns into doing the whole bed. You can't do anything. You totally unplug. So
that's great.
That's most recent.
So what message would you like to share with the residents of Montgomery Township about your commitment to their safety and well-being?
I would say that my commitment to the community is to keep the culture of the police department. It's a very professional and proactive police department. So it's really important for me to keep going in the same direction that we are and just improve upon it the best that we can. I would say also that, I'd want the community to know that the teamwork that is involved in a police department is something that, like, I've never been involved with. It's a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week operation. It's more than just a patrol officer seeing drive around there. There's a lot of people involved in the team. The patrol officers are out there. They're out there in the bad weather, the holidays, missing special events, weekends. They're the ones out there. They're the ones boots on the ground doing the work. But there's also the detective division. They're very involved in the big investigations, the high-profile arrests, the really in-depth stuff. They do a really good job at digging into the different investigations and doing everything they possibly can to solve crimes. There's also the dispatchers. Many people don't know that we have in our police department dispatchers that are here also 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of the weather, holidays, or special events. We're very fortunate in this agency that is supported by Township Manager and the Board of Supervisors to have this, because what that means is when you come to our police department, no matter what time of the day, you're going to be greeted by a person that's going to be able there to help you. A lot of agencies have gone to where you go into the lobby after hours and it's a phone. You pick the phone up and you're calling Montgomery County Radio in Eagleville. Not here. Here, you're able to go in and speak to an actual dispatcher, or you're able to call in through our in-house line if you have a question, a problem, a concern, and it reaches that level to where you don't want to call 911. You think it's not that important. You just want to let the police officer know about something, whether it be a suspicious vehicle, kids walking through your backyard at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's something that might not raise to your level that you want to call 911, but it's enough that your suspicion is up that I would suggest that you would call our in-house line. And what happens, just so you know what that looks like, if you call that inside line about something that you don't think is an emergency, but we do think it's warranted for making an official police incident about it, we will take all of your information. Then we will transfer you to Montgomery County Radio that does the 911 dispatching. But that doesn't mean that the call just sits pending until it gets out on the radio. Our dispatcher will go on our township radio and tell the police officer to respond to the area and what the issue is and what they're looking for. So there's a lot of times that our officers, say for instance, a suspicious vehicle in front of your driveway at 3 o'clock in the morning that it's just not right, it's occupied, you don't know who they are. So a lot of times we will get out these suspicious vehicle calls before we even get dispatched to it through the county radio system, because you called in and our dispatcher at our township is sending an officer out and they might be right down the road. If you do want to call that non-emergency number, that phone number is 215-362-2301. It's also on our Facebook page as well as our Crime Watch page if you ever need it. I will tell you, though, if it is a true emergency, we still want you to call 911. That's still the avenue for an emergency that's going on. Something needs immediate police assistance. I would say that non-emergency phone number would be used for something where you're not sure if it's actual emergency, but it's something that concerns you enough that you think it needs police attention. Also, we have a support staff. Our clerical unit is top notch. There's a lot of reporting that needs to be done, not only on the state level, but the federal level. And they tirelessly work through that process and are a great asset. We also have what's called staff services. This is a one-person position. And what they do is they keep our fleet running of all the police cars that we have. I believe we're up to 23 police vehicles right now. He's not doing the major stuff on them, but he's in charge of making sure, the lights work. If the radio goes down, he does IT stuff within our department. Smaller IT level stuff is we have another IT department for the township, but the little things that can be done, printer broken, computer not working, he's able to do all these things, and he keeps our fleet running at all times. So this is all a big teamwork. And I will say the one big thing is, as far as teamwork goes, is I would consider the residents or the community as part of that teamwork. I mentioned earlier, but if you do see something that, it arises suspicion or you need the police to come out, please call us. Don't ever think that you're bothering by calling us. That's what we're there for. If you see something suspicious, let us know. We'll come out and take a look at it. The final thing I'd like to say is I'd like to ask everyone listening to think about the men and women of law enforcement. during times of bad weather, holidays, nights, weekends, and special events they're missing. They're on patrol, keep people safe and ready to answer the call for help regardless of the severity or threat to their safety. So thank you very much.
Well, I know in the 5 years I've been here, every time we post about the police department, we get nothing but positive feedback from our residents. So on their behalf and the board's behalf, I want to thank you for stepping up into this role. And I look forward to seeing what you do with the department going forward.
Thank you. I'm humbled. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for listening to the We Are Montgomery Township podcast. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast and follow Montgomery Township on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at MontTWP. Our display name is Montgomery Township, PA. Until next time, we are Montgomery Township.